Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Texans Probe. Today, of course, we're back with Drew. Today, we're just going to kind of discuss the Texans game against the Cardinals. Obviously, a fun game. The Texans kind of dominated from start to finish in this game. Wasn't really ever all that close. Texans offense played pretty well. Texans special teams made a big impact. And, Texans defense was kind of disappointing in this game. But does anyone really care about how the defense played against this type of team? No, not really. They didn't play a great game, but they also were pretty good still. And the offense and the special teams kind of lifted them up. They made a big impact in this game, so that's what we like to see. But yeah, Drew, how you feeling?
Yeah, I feel kind of this exact same way about you. It was pretty good to see the Texans just kind of take control of the game from the start, especially to have a long touchdown early in the game. That's something that you really haven't seen the Texans do fairly often. And the defense probably was just a little bit vanilla, not really trying to go out there and do anything crazy. It's not the play that we expect to see from them, but you're right. Who really cares? I'm really not too concerned about the Texans defense. And they may put up a similar performance against the Raiders this week. Who knows? But I'm really not too worried because we know how talented and just good that offense is, or our defense is. But more so impressed by the offense because not too long ago the Cardinals were considered to be a tough, gritty defense that's not fun to go up against, and so I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, Jacoby Brissett's played pretty good. We talked about this. He's played pretty well the
Yeah.
last couple weeks, and I thought he played well in that game as well.
Mm-hmm.
Trey McBride had an awesome game, obviously. Michael Wilson, makes some plays. Like they're not, especially in the pass game, they're not a terrible passing game team. And like you said,
Impressive,
I think
yeah.
the Texans really were up that whole game. It didn't feel like the defense had to do a whole lot. They just kind of had to, make some plays here and there, and just kind of, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, very vanilla. Not too much to really take away from the defense there. But the offense again, like you talk about, they had the Nico touchdown to start the game. It was awesome to see. They still have to get better in the red zone. They still have to do some things better, but the offense is definitely improving. It's definitely better than it was to start the season. And Nick Haley's doing some different things on offense now, which is fun to see. They're trying different things out. Even in the red zone, they're trying different things out. They've tried the Stovercat. They tried a direct snap to Dari this game. Like they're trying different things in the red zone, whether I like it or not. They're at least trying
Yeah.
some different things. Um, so we'll kind of get into that. But I mean, how you feeling about the offense? Do you think it's good enough to go compete, or how you feeling about it?
I think that it's enough that the team needs. I think that the team has a
Yeah.
defense that can get you the ball, that can easily get you possessions quickly, turnovers, doesn't really matter. Just because of that defense. And honestly, it's probably made the offense better over the course of the season, maybe more comfortable. Nick Cayley's more comfortable as a play caller. CJ Stroud's more confident as a decision maker, as a thrower, because he knows he has a defense that will consistently have their back. They're going to go out there and sling it and do what they want. And like you said, credit to them being creative in some goofy ways that haven't necessarily worked. Um, a plus effort by them for at least trying. They've definitely improved as an offense over the course of the season, and I think it's absolutely enough to be a contending football team. Because at the end of the day, well, the games that the Texans win against the good teams may just very well be a game where they win 17-13. I'm not
Yep.
really expecting them to get into a shootout because why would it ever come down to that when you have the defense that they have? So I think that just the fact that they've been able to evolve over the course of the season sucks that their early part of the season performance is going to cost them winning a division potentially. But we'll see what happens there. But obviously, this team is one of the hottest teams in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll get into some of the kind of the highlight guys. We obviously want to highlight Jawar Jordan, who had a big game. First 100-yard rusher for the Texans this
Yeah.
season,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean, a big performance from him, obviously. Woody
Mm-hmm.
Marks has just kind of been, injured the last couple weeks. Really just been playing through stuff. And this game where you were up a decent amount, you try to get other guys some opportunities. I thought he ran the ball pretty well. Dari had, a nice run or two. So overall, Jawar Jordan like I said, he had a really good game. I thought Dalton Schultz had a good game.
Yes.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Becoming very
and
reliable.
then yeah, yeah, and then I think obviously Nico had a good game. Although Nico only had like three catches, he just had
Yeah.
it really there was one that got taken away because Blake Fisher didn't report as eligible, which was annoying. Um, but overall, not really much to complain about on offense. I'd say I thought they played pretty well offensively. Um, the pass protection was fine. It wasn't great, but it was good
Yeah.
enough. Kind of what we've been seeing, I feel like, from the offensive line this season. It's not amazing, it's not perfect, but it's good enough for
Mhm.
them to, at least to allow Stroud to make some plays. And Stroud played one of his better games this season, I would say. Very accurate. Made plays out of structure, made plays in structure. Pretty
Yeah.
much what you've seen, what we've seen from him the last, 5 weeks, and what we came to expect from him early in his career, and then kind of tailed off at certain points. But you're kind of seeing now, kind of what you expect from CJ the
I
last
will,
couple
I will
weeks.
also say, like the usage of Blake Fisher in these packages is really impressive. I think that he's a pretty solid run blocker in terms of they're asking him to do certain things athletically and schematically. He does it right. It's better than putting Stover in or Schultz in that position where they might get knocked back. They might get instantly, shedded off of their block. Like I think that the fact that they're making a point of emphasis gives them kind of an identity as a football team too. And also there's going to be room to grow within that package as well. So credit to them for using 6 offensive linemen a lot the
Yeah,
past few
yeah,
weeks.
they use that jumbo package a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like I said, I know Blake Fisher kind of had a frustrating week because you had two penalties on
Mm-hmm.
big plays that just can't really happen. But overall, that's been fine. And like you said, I don't really have a lot of trust in Kate Stover blocking. I still don't think he's a great blocker, although he can make him some nice blocks. I don't think he's very consistent in doing it. And then we've kind of seen Dalton Schultz. I mean, actually, numbers wise, Dalton Schultz, like he had a couple bad pass protection games in a row, and then they actually haven't asked him to pass block a single time the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, that's what we talked about when it's like knowing your personnel. You just don't ask him to do something he's not good at.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna ask a tight end to pass block, you
You're
either let
gone.
Stover do it, or you just bring in a sixth lineman. So um, it's nice to see them kind of
Gone.
figuring that kind of stuff out. And like you said, the jumbo identity the jumbo formation kind of gives them an identity on offense, which they really didn't have last season. Their identity is, that they're a very good time possession team, like we've talked about. They're gonna really kind of wear you down, I'd say, on offense. They're not gonna really consistently like make string together huge drives that feels like
Mm-hmm.
they're not gonna be a very explosive offense. Maybe they'll hit a deep ball or two to Nico, but overall, it's a lot of quick passing game and trying to run the football. And it's been pretty effective, I'd say. I think they're 14th in EPA per play for NFL for next gen stats using that. So I mean, 14th is better. It definitely better than it was last season. I think you could check, and I think it was in the 25 range last season. So it's a huge upgrade. When I think the personnel has probably gotten worse on the offense. I think that the
Yeah.
offense last year was
That's
probably more
bad.
talented with Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs and Laramie
Yeah.
Tunsil and all these guys on the offense and Joe Mixon, who hasn't played this season. So, I mean, I think you could definitely argue it's a less talented offense than last
It
season, but
is.
the coaching staff has done a much better job this season figuring some things out on offense.
That's a great point. I think that's something that everyone else needs to realize that you're right. We have less to work with. We have a new coaching staff, and there's a lot of teams that when they do have a first year offensive coordinator, they just simply aren't very good and they're struggling. The Texans did struggle, but we're talking 14th in EPA per play. We're talking time of possession like that. We were definitely critical, or I was critical of Nick Caley in the past, but I really don't have too many concerns right now. Knowing that it's not the most talented offense, and he's a first year coordinator, it's really only going to keep going up. And when you have Stroud making kind of special plays outside the pocket, inside the pocket, within tight windows, making passes there, I think that there's a lot to be hopeful about. And frankly, I'm just excited to see the Texans play real competition again because that they're playing the Raiders, and they're playing a banged up Chargers team and banged up Colts team. So
Yeah,
kind
I mean the
of,
Chargers game should be interesting for the offense, but the defense really should be able to kind of dominate that game against a really beat
mhm.
up offensive line. Justin Herbert's beat up. I mean, that should be a game that they should win, but that'll be an interesting test for the Texans offense because the Chargers defense has been pretty good this season. And so that'll be an interesting test there. Yeah, I mean, like we talked about, the offense is. I mean, I kind of pointed out this for a while. Like the offense is just not. They're not that talented on offense right now. I mean, you look at the receiver room outside of Nico Collins; they don't have a consistent second guy
Yeah,
yet. Jaden Higgins has made plays. Like these Hutchinson's made plays, but they don't have a guy that's like clearly a number two right now.
right.
Number two receiver, and I think it'll be Jaden Higgins or Jalen Noel next season, but it's just
Yeah.
not really there right now. I mean, the second receiver on this team is pretty clearly Dalton Schultz right now, and
But
that's
he's
not a
good.
role that you really ever want him playing. I mean, last season you're looking at him as the fourth or fifth option in the passing game, so it's just it's a different it's a different type of offense that they're having to run, but I think Nick Haley's helped a lot of guys out on offense. I think, Nico Collins was kind of a guy that early in the season it didn't feel like they were utilizing him correctly, and now they're starting to do some of these things that they're utilizing. They're putting him in the slot. They're using him. I mean, I would still like to see more screens and stuff to him if they could kind of find
Yes.
a way to do that. I would like to see more of that. But again, they're using him in the slot. They're motioning him a little bit. So that kind of stuff over just isolating him the whole game. Obviously, dominating the middle of the field, which we know Nico Collins can do at the highest level, and you're starting to see that again. I mean, Dalton Schultz is having one of the best seasons of his career under Nick Caley, which is not surprising. Nick Caley's a tight end guy. That's not surprising. Dalton Schultz has been very good for this offense. And really, the run game, I think the offensive line, I actually saw a graphic today, and I'm going to probably quote tweet it later. I just was kind of holding it. But the Texans' two running backs are literally like the worst when it comes to like yards after contact and breaking tackles. They don't do either of them. Nick Chubb or Woody Marks do
Right.
neither of those. So really, the offensive line has gotten a lot better in run blocking, but the actual run game's probably been just as bad because the running backs have gotten worse because they don't have Joe Mixon back there.
Mhm.
Which I mean, it just sucks. There's not much you can do about that situation. But you look at next season, and that's kind of something I'm talking about when we get to draft talk as well. I think it makes a lot of sense for this team to go target running back early.
Yeah.
Um, and be able to kind of establish a run game because if they could be an average running team, they're already one of the best passing teams in the league, actually, numbers wise. If they could just establish a run game, a consistent run game, they'll be one of the better offenses in the league. And then you're looking at a team that can dominate time possession, that can run the ball well, that plays defense really well, that has a quarterback that, at worst is probably a top 12 guy in the NFL. That's a really good football team. And, they already are a very good football team, but they
Yeah.
could get even better with the draft capital they have as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah, you're getting me really excited for offseason talk, but
Yeah,
that really is the vision because you have a defense like that. You want to have a run game that's overpowering, and that would probably be the long term goal. I think that was kind of always the goal that
I
D'Amico
agree.
Ryans had with the football team, his football team. He wanted them to be able to run the ball, but I think it's just kind of a cliche to say. Like it's like what Bill O'Brien would always say: "It's like we need to run the ball better," or something like that. I don't know, but it's NFL teams want to be able to have a great defense and to run the football. That's just the thing. And the Texans aren't there yet, but they're close. So.
Yeah, I mean they're not that far off. I don't think they're a better running team than I think they have been, but they're still not great. I would say that they still definitely need to improve on that side of the ball. Um, so I mean it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean if you want to look at like I can pull up some of the numbers for the offense.
Hmm.
Um, So, I mean, if you're looking at EPA per play, we can just go this one. Some of the EPA per plays are different. Like I said, next gen is different versus this on certain occasions. But I kind of like this just because you can adjust it by week. So you can go from like week 4 to week 15 or week 15, it would be. So you can look at kind of once the Texans offense has started playing better football. So, I mean, they're 15th in EPA per play here.
Yeah.
Um, and drop back EPA, I mean, 10th. So they're one of the better passing teams in the league, even if their pass protection is not great in certain situations. They don't have the best weapons currently. I think they can develop into having better weapons, but currently they're not more talented. I mean, you look at the teams that are above them. You got Detroit, that receiver room's loaded. They got Sam Laporta as well. Um, the Niners have, the Niners are a good example of actually a receiver room that's kind of also not that great, and they're playing really well. Brock Purdy's been really good lately. Kansas City, they got Patrick Mahomes, so that's not surprising. You got Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle's got JSN. They got Rashid Shaheed now. I mean, they got plenty of weapons. Dallas got plenty of weapons. Buffalo's got Josh Allen. The Rams receiver room's loaded. They got Matthew Stafford. Drake May's been incredible, obviously.
Right.
And then Green Bay is loaded with weapons, obviously. You look at success rate. They're never going to be a great success rate team,
No.
actually, which is kind of
Never.
funny. They've never been that at any point. Even Stroud's rookie year, they weren't a great success rate team. They have a lot of big plays, but they're not. I mean, 14th is not actually bad for drop back success rate, but you look at their total success rate, and they're going to be in the 20s. Yeah, 28th, which is not great, obviously, but they've always been this way, which is just kind of weird. They don't run the ball well, which doesn't help. So I mean, rush EPA they're 28th, rushing success rate they're 28th. They're just not a great running team right now, but I would say that they're closer to being a good running team than they have been in the past, which is encouraging.
Yeah. There's times last year with the scheme where it just kind of felt helpless. This year, it doesn't really feel that way. It just feels like at some point they'll evolve and they've more so improved just overall.
Yeah, I mean, we can look at here. I'll log into NFL Pro and we can look at some of these numbers as well. Just kind of talking about some of the running game stuff. But I want to say last year they were really high in yards, or they were really low in yards before contact, and now I
Yeah,
want to say they're like 18th or 19th, which is not great, but it's definitely an improvement
right.
for the Texans offense. And then, they probably shouldn't be 28th or 26th or whatever they are in EPA per rush at that point. But like I said, the running backs just have had a hard time breaking tackles. They haven't done that very well. So that's just it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. But yeah, success rate, obviously. So if you go by this one, they're 30th in rushing success rate.
Oof.
But if you go yards before contact, they're, what are they, 21st? So, I mean, it's not great,
Right.
but it's definitely better than it has been in past years. And then, but yards after contact, they're 27th. So that they don't do that very well. And then, you go
Mhm.
rushing yards over expected per attempt, they're 18th. Like they're not a horrible running team, I'd say. EPA per rush on this one, they're 25th. They're not like a terrible, terrible running team. And stuffed rate, they're what, eighth. So I mean, they're not a great running team, obviously, but they're not a helpless running team. They have a shot at least, because you go back to last season, you go check these numbers, even with Joe Mixon, they were, what are they in rushing success rate? I mean, they were 31st in rushing success rate, and then yards before contact, they were 20th. So I guess it's pretty much the same. But I will say the offense, when it comes to that, definitely improved later in the season. It was bad to
Yeah.
start the season.
Mhm.
Um, and then you go stuffed rate, they were, I want to say they were, yeah, second highest stuffed
Jeez.
rate. So it was pretty helpless last season for a lot of it. Joe Mixon made it a lot better, but I do think if you had Joe Mixon this season, you'd be looking at a better running game than they had last season for
Mhm.
sure.
For sure.
Um, 'Cause, you go by this one, EPA per pass, they're 22nd, which I guess I know oh, this is last season. So yeah.
Yeah.
So last season they're 22nd EPA per pass. This season they're 12th. And I know Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs dealt with injuries, but you still had them for both of them for at least close to half the season. Tank Dell you had for 12, 13 games, and you had Stephon Diggs for 8, I want to say. So, I mean, it's definitely a better receiver room than they had last. They had Xavier Hutchinson on that team too, who's been the second or third receiver on this team, and they just didn't really know how to utilize him. They didn't, it was just not. It just wasn't a great offensive scheme. Obviously, the Texans' offense is much better this season, which is
Mhm.
why I don't really understand why some people are so critical of Nick Caley in certain situations, because it's definitely an improvement. I get the frustration with him, but it's been a lot better this season on offense.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, that's kind of really all you can hope for. I mean, like I said, first year offense coordinator, it's never really easy. It didn't look good, but now you have a good feeling about it in terms of progress.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it still doesn't look pretty a lot of the time. It's not perfect offense, but it's good enough compared to what it was last season,
Yeah,
that, I mean, it can improve for sure.
exactly. So,
All right, we can go ahead and get into some of the tape, because there are some throws and stuff in this game that we
mhm.
we should probably watch.
Yeah.
Um, Again, don't really care about watching defensive tape at this point. Who really cares? We know what
Really
that's
good.
going to do. Well, what we can watch some of the third downs again.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and then we can watch some of the other highlight throws as well. So this one, oh, this was kind of a fun concept though. I actually kind of liked it. It just, you know,
You see what they did with Nico there. That was a
that's what I was pointing out. I tweeted this actually because if Edinger doesn't get beat here so quickly, Nico, you could definitely fit that ball into Nico.
yeah.
And actually, it looks like Stroud kind of wants to throw it, but it's like just it, with that much pressure right there, he kind of
Yeah.
looks like he wants to throw it, and that would have been a risky throw, because that
Mhm.
ball can get stripped pretty easily. So it's a smart thing to do. You kind of tuck it, but um,
The timing of it definitely has to pull it down.
yeah, but that's one of those where you can watch the tape back and be like, we had it, and your quarterback saw it. He knew it was going to be there. So that's not a progression type of
Right.
issue. That's just, unfortunately, you just didn't have really the time or the timing to get that throw off.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that's one of those where you kind of stuff in the back pocket and you kind of watch it, and you're just, it's kind of one of those things where I was talking about, where I think they're definitely better in the higher red zone. The lower red zone's where they struggle. Um, because I mean, this is a pretty good concept. I like it. Just didn't end up working.
The red
Um,
zone at some point has got to be. That would be my one nitpick. It just always seems the red zone is like it's so hard for them. It never comes
yeah,
easy.
it definitely shouldn't be as hard as it is.
Yeah.
This one's just a little scramble. Get yourself some field goal range. I mean,
That was smart, but I really like that decision.
probably could have got this
Obviously,
ball to
you could
Knoll.
get yeah,
Yeah,
but
but even there, he's not getting a first down, so it
exactly.
really doesn't make a huge
Yeah.
difference because he's still short of the first down, which I guess would be a critique of. I guess you're kind of sitting, but probably want to get closer to the sticks there if you're Knoll on that
Hmm.
route because if you're going to run a comeback, you probably or a stop route, you got to get a little deeper and then come back to the ball. So, but like I said, good play by Stroud. You end up getting a field goal out of this when you take the snap at the 43, I think. So, you like to see that for sure.
Hmm.
And then this one, oh, this was yeah, this was good pass protection, good progression. I remember this play. Schultz is just wide open. Again, you're not playing a very good defense, so it's not that surprising. But
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen.
no,
Basically, let's see what does happen defensively.
it looks
Watch
like
the
you just have the
linebacker.
linebacker that just bites on the flat from
Yeah,
or the
there's no
crossover from
reason for
Higgins to
the number
drag.
27 to really follow that
Yeah,
drag at all. You're right. Pretty brutal.
but yeah, it's good pass protection. I mean, what do they send here? Five,
Mhm. Yeah,
4. It's a
four.
good job by them.
Yeah, looks like
Um,
Ed Ingram one is 1-on-1 that time.
yeah, he's not been very good the last like couple weeks in pass protection. So if he gets some one-on-one wins, we like to see that.
Hmm. Yeah,
He's going
that's,
one-on-one with
yeah.
that
There
looks
you
like I don't know who that is actually.
go. Yeah,
Looks like a linebacker. I don't think that's a defensive end. Maybe it
yeah,
is.
true. Probably just a linebacker.
But yeah, I mean, if he can hold up in pass protection, we know how good he is as a run blocker. So,
Yeah.
oh no, not a fade route. Oh no.
I just think doing that on third down is always very lame because it's. I mean, sure, it's 50-50, but it just never feels 50-50 when Stroud does
Yeah, this was honestly one of like the more decent fade ball I think Stroud has thrown like in his whole career. Like it's not a great one, but at least this one you give your guy a shot like to go up and try to catch it because half the time the ball just sails out of bounds. So at least this time he gave him a shot to go get
it.
it. But
Right.
yeah, I'm just not a fan of the fade routes
Yeah.
um in general. And I don't think this one was a very. I mean, we've kind of seen it. Stroud's just not very good at throwing these. Like we can be honest about it. He's proven it
No,
plenty of times. He's
a
not a
lot of
great fade ball
quarterbacks make it
thrower,
look
and
easy. He never makes it look easy in this
no.
department. Also, I
And
just
I
don't love. Like, I love the concept on the right, and you just don't use it. I mean, but Jaden Higgins is open,
yeah, Higgins is open. Yeah,
which is that was a phenomenal route by someone who's 6'4".
yeah, just not a fan of the fade. I'm not a fan of the fade ball in general, but especially when your quarterback is not good at throwing it. So I would just try to get it out of the playbook. But like, again, I don't hate the idea of trying to get Nico one-on-one in this situation when you have the corner. Like that I'm fine with that idea in the red zone. Like just simplify the red zone and try to get your best player a one-on-one matchup. But we can do it in other ways that aren't a fade ball.
Hmm.
Whether it's a slant, and even in this situation, you kind of have inside leverage, or where the corner kind of is playing. I mean, you could almost get an out route there if you stem
You
him
really could
inside.
have just done that, but
So I'd rather have that type of throw than a fade ball. But I mean, you know what? I'm not going to complain about a game that they won by 20. It's just one of those things where I'm not a fan of fade balls in general, and then Stroud's not very good at throwing them. So just go ahead and get him out of the playbook.
yeah, please. The pass protection once again looks really, really good,
Yeah,
and just more like
that was
technique,
solid.
fluidity by everyone. It's cool to see.
This was the spike.
Yeah.
Um, this was actually one of their better 2 minute drills. We've kind of talked about it where they've really struggled with the 2 minute drill. This one was run a little bit cleaner. They at least got themselves they got themselves in a good position, and then the kick got blocked. But that's not their fault at the end of the day. That's a good opportunity to get another 3 on the board. This is a pretty good throw. I mean, it's not you kind of have to change the arm angle on it. Um,
Yeah. The zip on it after hitching and moving around the pocket is pretty impressive.
You definitely could have thrown this ball to Nico as well.
Yeah, Nico in stride touchdown for sure. And Nico was a little upset too.
Yeah, he thought he was going to get the ball here. But I mean, it's actually a pretty good route by Dare too. I got to give him some
Yeah.
credit. He did a pretty good job. I mean, like I said, I don't mind him being like when Woody's not playing, he can be the third down back. I don't care. But when Woody's playing, he should never be the third down back. Um, I mean, look, Dare is good in the role that's minimized before they started playing him on offense. Keep him as a special teamer, as a third or fourth option as a running back. Um, that's fine, but anything more than that, we probably should have conversations about. Nah, that's probably not his role.
Yeah.
So
Never really has made sense. That's for sure.
no, not at all. And then this one I want to say is a touchdown. Yeah. This was good extension. This is a good job by Stroud because I will say the play before this he missed a wide open touchdown, which was a little frustrating. That was like his one real accuracy miss of the day. I felt like most of his incompletions were like throwaways or they had the spike in there as well. There was very few incompletions that were like
Mhm.
actually bad throws, but the one play before this where they had the sprint out was one that I felt like he just
Yeah.
missed. Not really a huge fan of this concept though. Kind of makes it work, but
Yeah, let's
I don't
see.
really know what you're doing to the bottom side of this. Noel's kind of running I mean,
And then
out.
Schultz just kind of. Yeah, that doesn't really make too much sense to run that into the boundary. I would have to agree.
But I mean, like I said, it works out. Good job by Stroud. Just kind of we've talked about the footwork is just so clean now.
Hmm.
They really had some issues with that early in the season. Stroud, the Seattle game stands out. Obviously, we've talked about
Yeah.
that plenty of times. But it's really been so clean the last, I guess, week or not week, the last like 5 weeks really since the Seattle
Really,
game. I
yeah.
think you could say. And Stroud even at the presser, talked about Gerard Johnson being a huge help, and I think you can see it. I mean, we talked about it last season too. The fact that Stroud can have some of these weeks where he goes and he has some bad footwork, and then all of a sudden it gets cleaned up, like that says a lot about the quarterback coach.
Hmm.
Um, versus the there's a lot of times where once you get in that kind of rut in a season, it's just kind of over. Like you
For
just kind of
sure.
have to wait till the off season. But they've done a good job of bouncing back in the middle of the season, which is impressive.
Yeah.
This ball definitely could have been ripped to Nico as well.
Definitely.
Yeah,
He's thinking about it though. You can see his
yeah,
eyes.
yeah. I do understand. It is a little risky of a throw, so I get in this situation. I don't know what are they up? They're up. I mean, 16. So you don't want to throw a pick in the red zone. I get it,
Yeah.
but definitely could have ripped this football
I think he's got it too there. I don't know.
right here. Yeah,
Yeah,
if
I
you
just don't
throw
see a
it,
world where that gets picked. I don't know.
yeah. No, I agree. I think if you throw it like right here into this kind of space, I mean, worst case, it just kind of falls to complete. Especially if you throw this ball low. If you
Yeah.
throw it lower, kind of to a spot, like either Nico makes a play on it or he doesn't. So definitely would say that he probably should have ripped that ball, but I don't think Nico's the happiest either that he didn't throw the ball. He kind of,
Yeah, I can
I
see his
mean,
hands like.
yeah,
Yeah.
he thought he was going to get the ball again there.
Two throws. That means next week will probably be a big game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Nico had plenty of opportunities in this game. Like I said, he had 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. So for if you're playing fantasy, you're probably pretty happy with that performance, but it could have been more. Um, let's see. I had already left the game at this point actually, so
Yeah,
I left pretty early in this one.
It looks like you're probably supposed to go to Kirk there. Just didn't have the timing down.
Yeah. Yeah, Walter Nolan played a good game. Shout out. One of Texans Probe favorite.
I was a
He
fan.
was, yeah, we were fans of Walter Nolan.
Yeah.
He's a good player. He's going to be good. I
What's the
actually like
feeling
that was kind of one of my
Hutchinson?
things with like I'm a little confused why Arizona is such a bad team. Like they
Yeah.
they have a lot of guys that I like on that roster and they're just not very good. So I will say I do think Jonathan Gannon is going to get fired, even though I don't think he's a bad coach. Actually, I really don't think he is, but I think he's going to get fired, which I mean at this point kind of makes sense. Um, but I will be interested because I think they have a decently talented roster. If they
Yeah.
if they make a good head coaching hire, they definitely could be a good team. A team that goes from maybe not worst to first because that division is loaded, but be a team that could, kind of win 8 games, kind of be in the mix late in the season.
Yeah, I think
That wouldn't
I think
surprise me.
Gannon's the guy that does that for you, though. I don't really know what they're
I
thinking
agree.
they're looking
I think
for.
Jonathan Gannon is a pretty good
Yeah.
coach. I don't really know if he sticks this one out because I have a hard time believing they're going to fire the GM, and the GM has been pretty good, so I don't really
Hmm.
think it's his fault. But I think they got to move on from somebody because the last couple of weeks they've been a disaster, and it's probably going to be Gannon unless he could just make the OC the fall guy. I guess I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Gannon's a pretty good coach as well.
Hmm.
I would like him. I know. What's his name was a big fan of him back in the Nick Casario. Like again, if you want to bring him on staff as a defensive guy, have no
Awesome.
problem with that. Think he's a pretty good coach.
Yeah,
So I guess we'll see what happens
for
with
sure.
that. They're a team that I've always been kind of watching the last couple of years. I am a big Kyler Murray fan, so that didn't really work out. But um, I'm
Yeah,
also a big Jacoby Brissett fan. So
he's
I've
been
been,
playing really well. And then
yeah,
that's
it's been
kind of the
playing
throw
well.
you're waiting for
Yeah,
Stroud to make all day. Just see the anticipation. Yeah, I mean, there's a window you have to make it through there. So that's what you like to
I
see.
mean, you give Nico inside leverage on a middle of the field
Yeah.
ball, he's going to win every single time. I don't really know what the plan is for the Cardinals here.
Hmm. Yeah, without a doubt.
We can watch some other throws as well. There was obviously the first play of the game. This is one of those throws in the middle of the field that we talked about. It's another one of the examples of like you just can't. This is a good example of when you use Nico in the slot as well, which we've talked about.
Whew,
You just can't give
gliding.
him inside leverage. Yeah, I mean
Good
he's going to
lord.
win that every single time. And what's funny is I tweeted it and we've talked about it. Like there is so many times the last 2 seasons, the last 3 seasons where Nico has literally been one tackle away from breaking one of these into a touchdown, and he finally did it. He finally had one where he broke the final
Yeah.
tackle and he scored.
It's just a
Um,
nightmare for him to be in the slot for other teams. It just looks like a complete disadvantage.
and they have the guys to do it now. You could play Hutchinson and Higgins, or Hutchinson and
Even
Knoll,
Noel,
or Hutchinson
honestly.
and Kirk, or Higgins and Knoll, or Higgins and Kirk. Like they have enough options to play on the outside now that Nico
Mm-hmm.
Collins could play in the slot on occasion for sure.
Absolutely.
What are some other good throws in this game?
It's also
Oh,
just
we
really
can.
hard to double team someone when they're in the slot, in my opinion. I
It
think that's
is, yeah,
really
it
hard.
definitely is. We can. I mean, this was a big play for the offense as well. Obviously, it's not like it didn't go on the stat sheet, but this is good extension from Stroud, and this is a big penalty in the end zone. Pretty good throw actually too. I mean, you gave Schultz a shot to get feet in here. It's just kind of. I mean,
Mhm.
this is not a play that you expect Dalton Schultz to make, but I mean, give him a pretty good shot.
Yeah.
If that's a more athletic guy, he maybe can make this play. Actually, what's funny is this is a very similar concept. I was watching the highlights today, so it kind of reminded me. This is a very similar concept that you had in the wild card game last season,
Oh yeah.
where
Out and
where
up.
Stroud threw. I mean, it ended up being overturned, but the one where Derwin kind of picks it off. It's actually almost the
Yeah.
exact same concept that you ran here, but it's like I said, good throw. I don't really know what the DB is doing though. That's just
It
kind of
was
bad
weird. Yeah, it was.
coverage.
I remember looking at the screen after the penalty. It's like I don't know why you just didn't turn your head around. I mean,
Yeah. But
they
again,
grabbing
that's one of
on,
those plays where I mean
pulling.
that's a really good, you give your guy a shot in the end zone, and
Yeah.
um you really, like I said, if this is a more athletic guy, you probably can get 2 feet in here. It's just not it's Dalton Schultz. So
And like
no
I
disrespect to
also,
Dalton Schultz,
yeah.
but
I
he's been
also
good this
can't
season, but he's just
imagine
not.
like CJ Stroud that played the Seahawks. I can't imagine him making a throw like that. That
No,
CJ
no, not at
Stroud just
all.
looks like a top quarterback.
And this is the one that gets called back, which is frustrating, but I mean this is another throw where she kind of look, this looks to
Yeah.
me. I could be wrong. I guess not. I was gonna say maybe you could get illegal contact on the DB as well, but I don't really think that's legal
Yeah, it's
contact. He just kind
definitely
of.
just an accident, but
Yeah, yeah. They
it
just kind of
also
ran into it.
kind of
The
affects.
DB wasn't even looking at Nico actually, which again is just bad coverage. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know what the DBs are doing in the secondary for a lot of this game. You're not even looking for the inbreaker.
I have no
But
idea
I mean,
why
it,
he's
it
like.
is
Look how
honestly
tall
pretty
that guy's
impressive that
back.
you're winding up to throw the ball right there,
Yeah.
and Nico is being totally
Wow.
totally jammed, and he
Wow.
just yeah. So
Oh my gosh. That's really embarrassing coverage. Whoever number 30 is, whoever that
yeah, I
is.
don't know. Yeah, who is number 30? Darren Hall.
I never
Don't know who
heard of
that
that
is.
name. I
No,
never
I've
heard
never
of
heard of him. Yeah, I've never heard of him either. No disrespect, no disrespect. We respect the NFL guys on this
Yes.
channel, but not really sure what he was doing there.
I
I'm not sure he knows what he was doing, so I don't know if he's going to
would
take too much
agree.
offense to
Yeah.
that. So what are some other plays that we could highlight? We can highlight the I mean, we can highlight the Jawar Jordan plays, I
Yeah, I was
guess.
just about to say some Johar Jordan runs just to really get a feel
Yeah,
for the
final
player
throw
that
we
he
could talk
is.
about. This was another nice throw, um, from CJ to Nico. Again, you're just throwing to a window. I mean,
Yeah. Whew.
it looks like an easy throw, but it's really not. You have
Not
to
at
throw this
all.
with good timing. There's three guys there. That's just not an easy throw. And this really isn't a bad. Actually, I mean, I don't know what number 27 is doing. He's been awful. Like he's not covering anybody for the majority of this game. Who is he?
He's
What is
got
he
like his
doing?
feet in mud. He's looking
Yeah,
around.
27. Oh, I do know this guy.
Yeah.
I've heard of him, but yeah, I don't know what he's doing. He really just is not moving.
Shuffling.
This is the kind of stuff that I watch Henry Toa do, and it makes me
Right.
infuriated. So I
There you
mean,
go. You know the feeling.
yeah, just dumb, just dumb coverage. There's nobody else for him to cover, so I don't really know what he's looking at. Like, what do you? Or I guess that's Jawar is covered, so I don't
Hmm.
like get some depth there. I don't know what he's doing. Um, but yeah, we can go through the Jawar Jordan stuff. I thought this catch was impressive too when they swung it out to him. I like a little swing lead. Kind of talk about this.
Yeah.
We've talked about this play plenty of times. But really, what's funny is Jawar just kind of outruns the
Yeah.
blocking. Like
That
he
cut
doesn't
was
really
just.
use the blocking at all.
Yeah.
Um, which I was talking with my dad. I thought it was funny because usually on this play you kind of slow it up. You kind of like so we're gonna
Yeah.
block. He's just like I'm going.
And you
Um,
never see that on that
and
play.
again, number 27 just straight whiffs. I mean, I don't know what his grade was, but
Oh
Jesus.
my gosh. What an angle he took to the ball. That's it.
I mean,
Honestly, he
jeez.
should have been tackled.
Yeah,
But
he should
there,
have.
it
But
was
I will
honestly,
say the quickness is impressive here. He looks shifty when he makes this catch. Like, I mean,
woo!
that's a quick move, man.
I don't know how you like not have this guy on the roster next week, even if Nick Chubb is
Yeah,
active.
it
I
sounds
don't care.
like from what they've seen and or for what from reporters have seen, it looks like him and Chubb are going to kind of be the main guys, which that makes plenty of sense. Sit Woody, you don't need him. Let him get a week off,
Yeah,
and let Jawar and Chubb take
I would
most of the
like
carries.
that.
I don't want Jawar Jordan taking 25 carries either. I don't think that's the throwing decision. But I think if you could give each of them like 13 carries in a game where you're going to be up, that makes perfect sense. Um,
Totally fine with that. Didn't even occur to me that they really could just sit, Woody Marks.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't practiced either of these first 2 days. I would just sit him. I would just give him a week off. He clearly is playing hurt. So just give him a week off.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, you essentially gave him last week off. He took 7 carries. So just give him a week off. It's the Raiders. Um, I mean, this is good stuff, man. The cutback. I mean, I want to say this was. I think I posted it, but I want to say this was the second most broken tackles for a Texans running back all season for Jawar, and he had 15 carries. So,
yeah.
um, again, it just goes to show the Texans running backs have not been good at making people miss this season, and
Mhm.
Jawar is pretty good at that, man. He can. I talked about it in training camp. We highlighted him in training camp actually
Yeah,
when we did our training camp Texans Probe episodes. We highlighted Jawar Jordan because Jawar made guys miss in I mean, obviously, you don't really make guys miss in training camp, I guess. So that's not really the right way to word that. But um in preseason, he just did good things for the
yeah.
Texans. We can highlight some of his other runs as well.
It's funny. Like I don't know if I love the athlete, but he's doing something right. I don't think he has the best
Yeah,
body
he doesn't
control.
have the breakaway speed either,
His
but he's
his
quick.
his strides are really weird. It's lacking control. Like see how he kind of lunges to the side. Like, I don't
Yeah.
love that, but he's also it's like it's working. So
Yeah, and we're probably not going to know what he is in the Raiders game either because the Raiders are just not very good.
like Devin White's
Um
gonna miss quite a few tackles.
Jesus, that guy sucks. If he wasn't just a freak athlete and a top 5 pick, there's no way he'd still be in the NFL
Yeah,
because he's genuinely awful. Um,
he has
I saw
140 tackles.
Yeah, I saw Ian Rappaport was like talking
Yeah.
about how he could be comeback player of the year. I was like, dude, have you watched Devin White at any point at this? I mean, at any point in his entire career, he's genuinely like one of the worst linebackers I've ever seen play.
Yeah.
He he just honestly has no idea what's going on at all times. Like he's just such a good athlete. He can make some plays, but his play rec is one of the worst I've ever seen. He has
Oh,
no
for
idea what's
sure.
going on.
Yeah.
But like you said, like the strides are weird, right? Like, but it kind of
Very.
reminds me. It's not the same style, but it kind of reminds me of Joe Mixon, where we talk about like it's a very awkward running style. It doesn't look like
Mm-hmm.
it should work, but it just
No.
does.
Also,
Um,
he kind of knows what he's doing, I guess, more than us, because he's getting people to lean one way and then he snaps
yeah,
the other way.
but
And
right,
that's
this cut looks very
right.
weird right here.
Yeah.
That looks it just doesn't look like it
Uh-huh.
would work, but it does.
Yeah.
And I will say, it probably worked to his benefit that the Cardinals probably hadn't. I don't think the Cardinals were probably watching much Jawar Jordan tape
No.
going into this week, so it probably was a
And
lot of
that's really, I mean,
that's good vision.
whew,
It's really nice vision from Jawar.
the timeliness of each cut is just perfect.
It's another good. Honestly, I thought Jake Andrews played a pretty good game in the run game, especially. This is another good seal by him. He just kind of seals this off and then allows for the cutback. So
Yeah.
I'd like to
In
see
total
that.
control of that rep while having to move.
And then there's some other good runs in here. Another run for 5. I mean, again, Jake Andrews just sealed that defensive tackle
Yes, I
again.
kind of like the design too. I like how they operated up front just to make it to where it's only one guy that's coming to the point of
Yeah.
attack and not 3 or 4.
Yeah, who is he? Who is his matchup here? Oh, that's Walter Nolan that he just kind of seals off.
Yeah.
Um,
And Ingram got some really nasty push, if you will, too.
yeah.
Woo.
Oh yeah.
He just straight up attacks that guy. And that's rare for someone that doesn't have like the longest arms. Just really attacks someone. Whew, pancake.
I mean, he pancaked 2 guys there
Yeah.
actually. If he gets to 27, dude, 27. Jeez, man, this is one of the worst.
Oh my
I mean,
god.
he is just getting absolutely destroyed, man. Oh my god, this is one of the worst games I've seen from a guy. This is rough, man. I got to check what his PFF grade is after this
Oh
because
god.
if it's above like a 40, I don't know
He's
what they
shocked.
watched.
I agree.
This is a good lead block by Ursier. I remember watching this one. I mean, I like the toss stuff. They've actually been pretty good at this kind of stuff, the tosses and
Yeah, Urstri got
um,
open.
yeah. And there you go. 27 took another bad angle. So there you go. Jeez, man. Rough game for him. Rough game for my guy Akeem.
Maybe his last year as a starter.
Probably,
Just
probably.
a hunch.
Maybe his last game was a starter. I don't know who their
Yeah.
backup linebacker is, but
Yeah,
jeez.
jeez.
I mean, is there anything else we really have to watch?
I don't think so. I think
I
that
think we're
was pretty
good.
much the key. And I'm excited to see more Jahar Jordan after watching that too. So
I would agree with that. I think it's an exciting. Here, let's go ahead and check the PFF grade on my guy
please.
because I'm very curious to see what they graded him because I highly doubt it can be good.
I agree. Run D grade of 20, maybe, if you
Let's
will.
see. Oh, there you go, 27.
Oh, okay. That's
So there you
good
go.
job, PFF.
You know, sometimes PFF doesn't lie. Sometimes they tell the
Yeah.
truth. You know, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we watch it and that seems pretty accurate. 34 run
And
defense,
who was
28
number
coverage.
30? Number 30
Number
on the
30.
Cardinals. Darren Hall, yeah. They weren't
Let
really
me see.
watching. He's number 12 on the list.
There he is. Yeah,
Yeah.
56. So not
Yeah,
great, but
not
yeah.
great.
So I mean, we didn't even watch a lot of the coverage stuff, but good lord, 8 for 8, 87 yards allowed for gathered. Jeez, man, that was rough. He's been in the league for what? Is he just? Oh yeah, he was in Cincinnati, which makes sense. Cincinnati's defense is horrible, so that makes
And they
makes plenty
allowed
of
him to
sense.
start for years and years.
Yeah, he took 1 snap last week, so I don't know what happened there, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean that was a rough game. Like I said, sometimes you watch it. That's why when we talk about PFF, you gotta watch the tape, and then you go check the grade and see if it matches the eye test because it doesn't always do it. But there's sometimes where you watch it You're like, you know what, that matches. I agree with that. And that
Yeah.
was one of those situations where definitely saw and agreed with the eye test there because that was rough for him. That was very rough.
Whew, poor guy.
So sorry if Akeem is watching this, man. We did not mean to just completely flame you
I'm
here,
sure
but
he's sorry too.
that
So
was bad. That was some bad football being played for sure.
yeah.
All right, well, I think that's pretty much it. I think we kind of covered
Yeah.
everything. Obviously, there's not really much to preview for this Raiders game. Like we can be honest, there's not really much to talk
Favored by
about.
how many points again?
Geno Smith, some
Yeah.
Geno action. That's my guy. Rock with Geno Smith, but he's not very good, so
Yeah.
we'll be all right. The only thing I'm interested to see from the defense is how they match up against Brock Bowers because they didn't match up very well against Trey
That's
McBride.
true.
So we've seen that.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. And offensively, just kind of win at the line of scrimmage. Let's try to make some plays. Jawar Jordan. That's pretty much it. All right. Well, we appreciate everyone for tuning in. Thank you all. Make sure you all like, subscribe. Stay tuned for the next one. Obviously, we'll be pumping out plenty of content. Really, I'm pretty excited for this Chargers game coming up. Should be a fun one. Texans can essentially clinch a playoff spot this week. Not officially, but it can be at 99% if they win and the Colts lose. So definitely a week to watch. Obviously, big game for us against with Jacksonville and Denver as well. That's a huge game for the
Yes.
Texans. So definitely gonna be watching that while watching the Texans game. But yeah, we appreciate everyone for tuning in.